Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the Sudan Rume Anaerobic Natural Processed Colombia Inmaculada from Onyx Coffee Lab. And there's the box right there. And this coffee is part of a $140 Rare Varieties box set that was released by Onyx. I'm going to be reviewing the other two coffees, and they should be released on Wednesday, the Geisha, and on Saturday, the Eugeenoides. So look forward to those two videos as well. I'm going to discuss a little bit of information about the varieties as well that was provided by Onyx. And I'm going pretty in depth into these coffees since they're such a luxurious item, I wanted to provide as much detail and description about all three of them as I could. So let me get the information about the Sudan Rume out of the way real quick. This is the book that was provided in the box set, and the Sudan Rume is described as being known for its hardy resistance to the coffee cherry disease. Sudan Rume is often used as a breeding variety. Originally, it was discovered in Sudan in the mountains of Marzabit. Another mutation with Bourbon. It's slow yielding and bursting with tropical fruit flavors. This coffee took the win with the Sasa Sestic in the 2015 World Barista Championship. And this is only the second time I've ever tried a Sudan Rume. The first time was last time Onyx released their Rare Varieties box set, and I remember enjoying that one. I was very much looking forward to trying it for a second time. This right here is day 16 of the coffee. And the recipe I used for this coffee is my standard recipe, 16.67 to 1 water to coffee ratio at 204 degrees Fahrenheit brewed through the Chemex. I took that recipe from Onyx, I mentioned that a lot. So the brew recipe as well as the brew method, it's Onyx's, so it's perfect for one of their coffees. And their roast profile is a light medium American roast. So with all of that out of the way, let's start discussing this coffee. Day 7, first day I had the coffee. The grounds, first impression I got, the grounds smell wonderfully fruity, and when the coffee's brewed, it definitely smells like wine. It has a very wine-like aroma to it. Best way I could describe the coffee on the first day is it has these subtle fruits that's wrapped around in a very notable and prominent wine acidity. And it does have a fermented finish, and the fermented finish does linger quite a bit. Day 10, which was my favorite day of the coffee, much better. Initially started out as pretty wine and pretty cherry forward at the higher temperatures. As it was cooled down, I would describe it as something kind of interesting. It had this like wine jello taste to it, like if you made jello out of wine. That's kind of the impression I got. A bit of honey and some very vibrant florals. And I will say this a lot, this coffee is very intense and very vibrant, so I'll probably use those two words quite a bit. Day 12, notably more tame on this day. Still very lively with the wine and very lively finish, but not quite as bold and prominent as it had been. I was getting some dark chocolate for the first time on this day, especially as it had cooled down. Florals, honey, and fruits still there, not quite as intense as it had been on the previous day. And day 14, which was my least favorite day of this coffee, it was basically what I would describe as an acidic wine bomb. Overly acidic, overly winey, not necessarily my favorite today. Fruits were there, a lot more subtle, and it felt super intense. Like, as this coffee cools down, I need to get this out of the way. So as the coffee's at a warmer temperature, it has a nice, kind of wine fermented taste. But then as it cools down, everything intensifies. The florals intensify, the wine intensifies, the fermented flavor intensifies, everything just gets super intense. And that's a common trend with actually all three of these coffees. All right, let me go ahead and put up the tasting wheel so you can see what I was getting. I believe this is the first time for any coffee I've ever reviewed that I put the acidity at level 5, because this coffee is super acidic. And especially once it cools down, it's got such an intense mouthfeel. You can feel it everywhere. The sweetness is really high. The finish is definitely very high. Could have been 5 because this is a very lasting coffee. Florals, level 4, as mentioned, they are super intense on this. Chocolate pretty high. On the day I made this tasting wheel, the chocolate was very notable. And then the other things, here's the thing with this coffee is, the wine intensity does kind of drown out the other things, but the other things are still super strong. You still get tastes of, some like mango, some citrus fruit, some cherry. Like you get those tastes as well, but you're just, I guess, in a sense, distracted and focused on how powerful the wine is. If there was like a wine part of this tasting wheel, it would be like a level 6. It's just so notable and prominent in this coffee. Definitely not the cleanest, slower on the body. Yeah, very, very wild coffee. My thoughts and impressions of this one, it won't come as a huge surprise as I'm not a big wine person whatsoever, and I don't like the fermented taste. This one definitely wasn't my favorite of the three. I didn't quite enjoy this coffee that much. One thing that happened was anytime I would drink this coffee, it was hard for me to want another cup of coffee because this one, it satisfied me for coffee for a little while. It's that powerful, it's that strong. The type of person I would suggest this coffee to is definitely your wine drinkers, your intense wine drinkers, something that has a very strong wine essence to it, because this coffee is just full of it. Super strong, super strong. I think I'm going to leave this one at that though, because I'll probably discuss it a little bit more when I'm talking about the other coffees, kind of compare them alongside each other. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this coffee, if you by chance tried this coffee. If you tried any Sudan Rume, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions of that, because it looks like for the most part they're mostly natural processed coffees. I've only ever seen them natural other than this anaerobic natural right here. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This right here has been a review of the Sudan Rume Anaerobic Natural Processed Colombia Inmaculada from Onyx Coffee Lab. Thank you for watching.